Good morning. I have a problem, and so do you. I'll talk about that in a minute. This morning, I got up to get ready to come back to work. It was a nice having a day off yesterday for Martin Luther King Day, but it's time to get back to work and get deep on into the third 9 weeks. Well, I get up and the house is pretty cold. I'm not really that cold-natured, and I don't really feel the cold as much as, say, my wife does. I enjoy, being cooler rather than hotter most of the time. But I was very cold. I did not even want to get out of bed. It was so cold. My house was cold. The floor was cold. Everything was cold. And I'm like, my goodness. Now, we live in a house that was built in the 50s, and we have a boiler, and that boiler is pretty old. Now, they last for a long time, but I think either ours is at the end of its rope or it needs some serious work. So we're going to have that evaluated today, and it was cold. It was whistling, and I think they call that kettling, and it's a result of a blockage or something in somewhere. I don't really know much about it. That's not really my area of expertise. So I told my wife, said, just call the guy, have him come out and evaluate it, and if we have to get a new boiler, we have to get a new boiler. That's just how life goes sometimes. I don't really want to do that because that's thousands of dollars. But nevertheless, it made me think, it's cold. Sometimes it's cold in your house when something goes wrong like that. But you know what else can be cold? Your heart. Your heart can be cold. Your heart can be so cold when you don't have the proper flow of relationship going on. If you have something blocked in your life, like your relationship with God and with others, your heart can literally be just a block of ice. And what I mean by that is not actually literally. What I mean by that is symbolically what happens to us is we become so concerned with our own misery or the misery of our lives or the things that are bad or the negative stuff in our lives that we can be super negative toward other people. Sometimes our heart can grow cold and uncaring when we forget our relationship that we have with God. I am so glad that His heart never grows cold toward us. Do you know that His grace is renewed every day? Every day that we get up, His love for us is rekindled. Every time that we come into His presence, He never treats us cold. He wants to be with us. That's how we should live our lives too. Sometimes things just stink. They do. Sometimes things are just aggravating and happen that you just don't want them to happen. It's just how it goes. But we have to remember to not allow those things to block our relationship with God or with others. Or else we end up like my house, with a cold heart that nobody wants to be around. That's something to think about, folks. I hope you have a warm heart. I hope you love others. Be kind to each other. Have a great day. See you next time.